CSR lead and the company secretary of Section 1 of the Companies Act. 3 T's and 1 I will definitely solve all the problems of yours. You will understand about the ground reality is the biggest challenge, right? So people who always ask that how can we do it alone, how can we do it at home, people don't see you as a human, they see you as a bundle of money. It is always people think about the money. So I just feel wow yaar. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Chinu Kwatra and we are watching the CSR Talks with Chinu Kwatra. This CSR Talks is something very emotional and personal to me. It's been 9 months where we were trying to conceive this idea, plan this idea and give birth to this final podcast which we are doing it today. So CSR Talks with Chinu Kwatra is nothing but we are talking corporate, we are talking social, we are talking responsibility, we are talking sustainability, we are talking environment, we are talking education, we are talking women empowerment, we are talking animal welfare, we are talking everything which saves life and protect life. And as the name suggests, it is corporate social responsibility. And I would like to invite on my podcast the corporate leaders, the ESG leaders, the sustainable leaders, the NGO leaders who have been doing excellent work in their own field. It's not about corporate, it's about personal social responsibility, I feel. So today with me I have Sanchita Vaish, who is the CSR lead and the company secretary of Baker Hughes. Welcome on board, Sanchita. Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast where I'm kickstarting this podcast with you. I know we met at an event, we connected there, and I've been watching you doing an excellent and a different kind of CSR work, and that's the reason I wanted to invite you here as our first guest for the podcast. So thank you. Directly Delhi to Thane in Mumbai, she's here just for us today. So once again, thank you.
Well, Chinu, thank you so much for having me, and many congratulations to you and your team for starting this podcast firstly, because I see the need of talking about CSR, what it is actually is. Most of the people that I meet in the industry are not very clear, like how do you actually intervene. People from non-social background do not know where to get started.
Right.
So I think this podcast will definitely give them a clear picture on what CSR is, what are the different aspects to it, and it's such a diverse field and quite an evolving field that we are talking about today. So thank you so much for having me here. I really look forward to this podcast.
Definitely, yaar. Whenever we tell about CSR, it is always people think about the money and the corporate has, which they will be putting up and making projects and benefiting people. But today we want to understand the core of CSR. That's the reason I wanted to have you here. Basically, I am always in dilemma when I see people with multiple profiles, right? It makes me happy also, but it makes me too much of anxious. Okay, how can a person handle multiple profiles in a same corporate or a same agency or in the similar life? And I am sure that being a woman, you have already 10 multiple roles to work on. But with an organization, you are also working on the two biggest role. One is company secretary, and the second is the team lead for CSR. How did you jump on CSR after being a company secretary, which is known as very lucrative, high paying job, and jumping into the CSR also, where it is 100% ground job, sweating up, being on the ground, being with the people who don't have anything but still being super happy?
Very good question, Chinu. And I would like to say that women are actually born multitaskers.
That's what I told. That's what I told in the beginning also itself, because I don't want it to come from you. It should go from me. That women are born with the 10 hands and 10 responsibilities.
Yes. So I'll be taking you back somewhere where I was doing my internship for company secretaryship course. So my first job, I started as an intern in Gurgaon. So when I completed my internship of 1 year, and then after 1 year I got absorbed in the same company as a full-time company secretary.
Right.
After 3 years of work experience, I looked at CSR getting picked up by the industry.
Right.
And it was quite evolving at that point. This was back in the year 2017 somewhere. It was quite evolving. the law, when it came in 2014, and it had been almost like 5 years, it was quite evolving. Many industries were picking it up, and many multinational corporates, I would say, were actually confused on how to get this really implemented and also make an impact on the ground.
Right.
So we we in our organization, we as company secretaries were actually given the responsibility to pursue CSR as a compliance driven thing. Okay?
Right.
So while I was given this responsibility, it happened by a fluke that I went too deeper into it. Rather than just meeting the checkbox compliance, I tried
Right.
to get involved on the ground, on what's happening at the ground, making plant visits.
Hmm.
Okay, what are the government schools looking at? So back then we were really invested into government schools. So at that point of time, when I saw the ground level reality, I thought there is actually a real need for intervention.
Right.
And that's what intrigued me more. And I, by my nature, by my temperament, I'm a very empathetic person.
Right.
Okay, so I've been like doing social work, and I would not like to tag it like social work. I was doing my, I would say that I was really interested in teaching kids,
Right,
and since
right.
the age of 16,
Right.
I used to teach my house elves children. So it came very naturally to me that when I got more curious into what this entire social sector and this CSR world looks like, I started pursuing it, and over a period of time and till date, I pitched to my organization that I'm a company secretary, and I come
Right.
with an added profile of CSR.
Right.
So I'll be very honest, that's been by fluke that it happened, and I love this job of being the CSR lead in my organization. CS is of course my bread and butter, company secretary, but CSR is something that keeps me motivated while doing my job.
So this is very fantastic to know, yaar. Jumping into something which is because I understand that company secretary is more of a compliance work and more of an office work where you are trying to do. But when it is about CSR and doing social responsibility, you have to be on ground. The temperature of Delhi, I suppose, is 45 degree in summers. You have been on ground then. In winters it is 2 degrees. You have been on ground then also. So with this, I want to understand what is the most impactful CSR project you have been done till date, or you have been planning to do it in next coming few months.
So most impactful project, the word impactful needs to be understood here first.
Right.
Okay? It's very subjective in nature. People have different definitions for impact. Some take it as like meeting number of beneficiaries, X number of beneficiaries were impacted.
Number games, yeah.
Some say that we have changed lives and we are not able to prove how we have changed the
True.
thought process of a person.
True.
So that's also impact.
True.
So it's very subjective in nature, and for me personally, impact is actually how you create a sustainable ecosystem on the ground. Okay?
Right.
So let's say we have picked up a CSR project which says that we have taught 50,000 students in a government school, and they are run on scholarships or whatever the project might look like. But what happens after they clear their 12 standards? Are they really getting that kind of job that they
Right.
are looking for?
Right.
Are they really able to pursue a higher course? Okay, so if they are not able to get the right amount of the right education to pursue their bachelor's or master's in whatever their interest areas are,
Right.
or they are not able to get the kind of job that they are looking for, that's not a sustainable ecosystem.
True.
Okay?
Definitely,
so
right.
That's for me. That is impact. Okay, if you are able to create a sustainable ecosystem starting from scratch to where a person lands.
Right.
Okay, so that's impact for me. And from the kind of projects that I'll give you an example, that we picked up a project in the Baleri district of Karnataka, where we were working with the farmers.
Right.
Okay? So Baleri district is one of the major areas that is drought prone.
Right.
in the state of
okay.
Karnataka.
Okay.
And now when we saw the livelihood of farmers there, it was too bad.
Right.
All the water resources were almost dried up. their main agriculture was the main source of income, which
Right.
had almost vanished.
Right.
So we intervened in that area and ensured that we intervene in their agricultural practice to make it more sustainable, as in improve their crop yields so that they can keep doing what they want to, but slowly and eventually change those practices for which the results might be visible maybe 5 years or 10 years down the line.
Right.
So we started a project with them that's called Watershed Project in the year 2019, and till date it's the 5th year of our investment
Wow.
there. And I can say at the 5th year that we have really made incredible changes on the ground.
Wow.
Farmers, the areas that we have intervened have shown group crop yield. The water bodies that we intervened in have adequate amount of water to meet to the farming needs of the farmers there. And eventually the project that we started of working with the farmers, we slowly realized what are the other areas where the farmer needs to be intervened in, like for example their livelihood.
Right.
So their livelihood of course depends upon agriculture, but their families also need to be empowered enough.
Right.
Okay, for example the women in the family.
Ji.
So we created a self-help group so that they can start their own initiatives like pickle making and then phenol making. All these initiatives started as a self-help groups where we invested in, we provided them capacity building, and eventually over a period of time we have seen the farmer, their children, the ladies in the house all have a good standard of living. Okay?
Right.
So that's how when you start you don't get to see a real picture, but
Right.
eventually when you are invested maybe 5 years, 6 years, 7 years down the line, you see how you are making an impactful change, and that's what the actual sustainable impact is.
So I just feel wow, yaar, because being into this sector since last 8-10 years, I've been listening to people that they have distributed 10,000 books, but when talking about impact, this is the same numbers that they have distributed 10,000 books, and I never felt that that is impactful, because 10,000 books distribution is not something you are able to impact someone. I always ask people that have you tried to teach one child and make his or her life. So I feel that is impact, and that's how you spoke about impact, especially with the farmers community. And I totally understand the drought region, the farmers, how sad they go in their life, which push them towards the suicide, which is something very very bad for us also to hear and understand. And you are saving lives not only by giving them a livelihood, but also being there as a family member. So firstly, thank you so much for doing this work. With this, I suppose it's a part and parcel of life now.
Yeah. One clarity that I would like to give to the viewers here, like you gave an example of book donation drive. So because I come from a compliance background, I would like to mention that one-off events does not qualify as corporate social responsibility. Okay,
Yeah.
you can do it as an individual, and
Right.
that's very good that you are doing.
Right.
But from a compliance perspective, I think I would request all my viewers to read section 135 of the Companies Act, where the entire law is given, and it's very simple to understand. It's not that technical. Just one section under the Companies Act, and you get to know everything under the sun about corporate social responsibility. So,
Section 135 of the Companies Act, ये अगर आप पढ़ लोगे, so your answers will be definitely answered related to CSR, because many people come in with projects that fund us this projects, and this section will definitely define and give you the clear thematics area where the utilization of funds can happen. With this, the next question comes with the same pattern. I'm sure you must be getting every day and night a message from an NGO that please help us, please fund us. You go to multiple events where you get thousands of cards of NGOs, and then your mailers are full with proposals and projects and everything. How do you choose an NGO, or what a corporate people who are working into a CSR sector, how do they finalize or plan that this NGO is something we look forward to, or what are the tick points for the NGOs you see?
Right. Yes, that's very true that we get a lot of cards, we shake a lot of hands at the conferences, uh, but it's not that we work with everybody.
Right.
Okay? And that's not possible. Even
Definitely.
for the NGO also or for the corporate, it's not possible to work with everybody. Okay? Because goals do not align
Right.
sometimes or any other reason.
Right.
So when we meet at the conferences, we exchange cards, we get to know about each other's work. Like for
Right.
example, what is the one thing that when we shake hands at conferences is what is the thematic areas that your organization works on, either it's for the NGO or for the
Right.
corporate. And when the thematic areas meet,
Hmm.
that's where we form a synergy. At least
Right.
we get a talking point on what are the thematic areas we can look into, and if they're aligned with both the organization's goal. Okay, so that's point number one. Okay, that the thematic area of the NGO also and also of the corporate
Should
meet.
match. Right. Right.
And what I've seen mostly in the NGO sector is when you are talking about, let's say I'm talking about that my organization works on the environment sector,
Hmm.
the NGO might not be working on the environment sector, but eventually they tend to improvise it, okay?
Hmm.
Which is a very wrong practice, I would say.
Right.
See, we can do everything, but you should have a track record on how projects are implemented on the
Right.
ground.
Right.
So that comes to point number two, is we really look at the track record of the organization,
Right.
whether they have worked and have created sustainable impact on the ground or not. Okay, and third is very important for us is the transparency and ethics. Okay, we being a multinational company, do not compromise on the kind of ethics or the transparency mechanism that the NGO might have. Okay, so one of the primemost thing that we work on when we engage with an NGO is we do a third party due diligence.
Hmm.
Okay? Which wherein we take all the registration papers of the organization. We also do a background check of the NGO. So that's very important for us, and I think for other corporates also. Every corporate is now doing a due diligence on the organization, so there's no way to escape.
Right.
You should have a good track record. You should be ethical and transparent in the way you work, and lastly, you should have created a sustainable impact on the ground.
Right.
That's when you be confident enough and show it to the corporates.
So definitely, I see here there are 3 T's and 1 I, which is you spoke about thematic areas, you spoke about track record, you spoke about being transparent, and then you spoke about impact. So everyone, please note this down. 3 T's and 1 I will definitely solve all the problems of yours when you think about going to a corporate for getting funds for CSR. Having said this, I also know that you have been engaged with your employees, which is very rare in the corporate sector, where it is about CSR, it is more of for funding a project, putting in their investments and everything, and then asking the reports. That's the only thing. But since last few years, I have been also noticing the change which is happening. But with your introduction, when we had a first time introduction at an event, I was amazed to know that the groundwork is done by your employees itself, your team itself. So how do you do that? How do you engage your employees? Because I know everyone is busy in their life. I like, why we want to go there? We will go there only during the event. Why we want to do the Reiki also? And I understand. So how that magic happened?
Very good question, and again I'll explain like how the infrastructure in our organization works.
Right.
So we don't have a dedicated CSR team in our organization, and it's absolutely 100% run by the volunteers. Okay. Our organization volunteers are none but the employees of the company itself who are working their day job, and over and above their day job and day work, they take out time for doing the social work. And that's been encouraged because our organization's culture talks about giving back to the society,
Right.
and getting involved with the community. Okay? So I would firstly mention that it's in the culture of the organization, and
Right.
we absolutely 100% promote it.
Right.
The second thing is, like, a lot of employees come to us that saying that we don't have time, we don't have the energy to spend on weekends. So that's very genuine. I don't complain about it. That's very genuine. But the way to tackle it is take your employees to the ground. They don't know the ground level reality.
Right.
Okay. They have to visit the ground to see what is the problem statement. Otherwise, they will never get to know.
Right.
So we have taken our employees to the ground. They have seen the ground level reality, and when they see the ground level reality, then empathy
definitely
invokes.
definitely
Okay? And that's where they come forward. They themselves say that I want to work on CSR projects. Just tell me what needs to be done. What is the kind of collaboration that you're looking for with the NGO partners? And then we themselves tell our volunteers to look for an NGO on the ground that can pursue a certain project. We themselves empower our volunteers in terms of capacity building, like giving them a knowledge on corporate social responsibility as a law. And then over a period of time, when they get hands-on experience, they do not want to leave it. They want to do it like a full-time job.
Beautiful.
Trust me, I've seen such good stories coming from our volunteers in the organization, and I would like to state one of them. Like in Bangalore, there was a lady. We took her to a palliative care center.
Okay.
So palliative care center is like a hospice center wherein cancer patients who are almost at the last leg uh, are given nurse care. Okay.
Right.
And they're not treated, but
They're giving the
being
care,
taken
yeah,
care
right.
of. Okay, so all those patients come to that hospice center. So one of our volunteers visited at this hospice center with their kids, and after she came back from the hospital, she dropped me an email saying that, Sanchita, it was such a, what do I call it? I don't have words. Such a thought-provoking or a perspective that I've never seen life as. Okay, we do complain about little things, our day-to-day jobs or our day-to-day work, but there are actually people who need our time, who need our support. They need somebody to talk to more than anything
Right.
else.
Right.
Okay? So she went there with her kids, and the kids also got to know they are such privileged children that they are sitting in an air-conditioned room,
Right.
with roof on their head, with the world-class education. So these kids, when they see the actual ground level reality, they are empowered. They thought provokes that they need to do something for the nation building as well.
Right.
Okay, so such stories really, they are very heart consuming, and when you see these stories coming in, you're more motivated to do social work.
Beautiful, yaar. I feel that it is more than a corporate social responsibility. You are doing a work of employee social responsibility, where you are filling the employee with empathy, and you are pushing them towards to do something for the society. And more power to you for this. But I am sure that in every project or anything which we are planning to do, there are always challenges sent by universe. So how do you tackle the challenges, or what kind of challenges you have faced in implementing a project, or how do we tackle that? Any light on it?
Yeah. So there are a lot of challenges, and ideally, if I give the list of challenges, this conversation might not end. But I'll just touch one challenge that I've faced as a corporate. Um, so I would want to talk about the sustainability of the project first.
Right.
Okay. What I have seen is, let's say an NGO intervenes in a sector, and I'll take the example of maybe a slum area development. Okay. So once an NGO intervenes in that area, they are supposed to be doing a ground level survey on what are the needs of people there, what are the main areas. Okay. So that's the ground level survey that they do. Okay. Then they come to the corporates giving a proposal that these are the problem statements, and this is the areas we can tackle those problems and there's a budget too. That's
Right.
how a concept note or a proposal is prepared.
Right.
And when, let's say a corporate starts funding this project and the implementation starts happening on the ground, but ultimately there would be one day when the funding would stop. When the day when the funding stops, how do you make the project sustainable is the biggest
challenge. Right.
So that's a statement that one needs to tackle, not when the funding stops, but when the baseline survey is happening.
Right.
So the problem statement is here, to be precise, that there is no sustainability. A top-down approach is being followed where heads of the NGOs, heads of the corporates identify or make an assumption sometimes that this is the problem statement of the area and this is how they need to be tackled. But rather than that, one needs to go on the talk to the beneficiaries. Okay, understand how their problem can be solved.
Right.
Rather than taking decisions at the boardroom.
Right.
Okay? So this change needs to eventually happen. A top-down approach should be curbed and a bottoms-up approach should be followed. Okay?
Definitely.
And that's how you sustain a project, because at the end of the day, at the end of the project, one needs to hand over the project to the community to run it. Okay?
Right.
So instead of doing it towards the end, one needs to ensure that their participation is equally there at the planning phase itself, at the decision making itself.
Right.
Okay? So that's where I see the problem is, and that's how we have tried to not follow the top-down approach, but rather a bottom-up approach.
Excellent approach. Our bottoms-up approach is something which solves the purpose. It gives you the exit strategy. I am sure that many people who are working in an NGO sector, they don't have a plan for exit. Like जब तक corporate देता रहेगा तब तक हम काम करते रहेंगे. It is that वाला statement which usually we get it, and there is no closing the loop at all. That if the funds are coming, and how long you will be utilizing these funds, or how long you will be keep asking for the funds to support the project. So this approach, bottoms up approach, I am sure even the NGOs need to also think about it, and the corporates definitely who are listening this, if they haven't adopted this, they can adopt this thing. And for more information, they can get in touch with Sanchita. She will be the best guide. With this, I want to understand, since there are many people, many youngsters, I always feel that I meet them. For them, they ask the job opportunities in terms of employee engagement, CSR sector, NGO sector. So what are the basic skills you feel that a person should be having to get into CSR, or what are the fields they can, supposingly I'm a graduate, I want to get into a corporate for CSR or employee engagement activity or anything related to that, but on a corporate side, not on an NGO side. So what is the checklist they should be having to get into this field?
Right. So for maybe a school pass out or maybe a college pass out, and for somebody looking forward to pursue a career in corporate social responsibility or anything related to it, there are quite a number of fields evolving in this sector at this point of time. Okay, so I would say the kind of soft skills that we are looking at currently is number one, empathy. Okay,
Perfect.
and you would agree with this.
That's what the answer I wanted, because when you talk about skills, people say I know Java, I know coding, I know Excel, I know communication, but in the resume there's one word which is missing, is the empathy. And if you don't have empathy, I don't see anywhere standing there, not in the only social sector, but nowadays if you don't have empathy, you can't be a EA, you can't be a director, you can't be a CEO. You have to have that empathy level to grow.
Yeah.
And thank you for that. The next one?
Yes, empathy is definitely the number one thing, because until and unless when you see everybody looks at problem, but there
Right.
are very few people who think from a perspective of that there's a problem, I can do something about it. There are very few people. Mostly people say that's not my problem, or I have nothing to do with it, so I shouldn't be bothered about it. Okay? So empathy comes from maybe the temperament of a person, and maybe somewhere deep inside you think that there's a problem, social problem that you can
Right.
solve. Second is passion.
Right.
Passion to drive change,
Hmm.
whether it's anything. Eventually, in the longer term,
Hmm.
passion is something that keeps you going,
Hmm.
where you don't look for external motivation, but the motivation comes from inside. So
Hmm.
passion in that sense is the second and the most foremost, one of the most important things that one needs to develop,
Hmm.
not only in the social sector but any sector. Okay. And third is strategic thinking, I would say. When you have the empathy, like you have the heart to do something, you have the passion to make the change in the community that you live in. Third is a strategic thinker on what you can do. Okay. What you can do about the problem. Like for
Right.
example, if you are working in a CSR sector,
Right.
you identify the problem, you want to make a change, how you can strategically align or frame it in a sort of a robust framework wherein you can also pitch it to the corporates and
Hmm.
ask for funding, or maybe start doing it yourself so that tomorrow you can show it to the corporates or the individuals and
Right.
tell that we have already piloted this program and now we want to scale it up.
Right.
Okay? So I think these three key areas is something that a person looking forward to enter into the CSR space should have. And then second is how they can get into it. So I have a clear very funda, and it comes from a personal experience. Volunteer. I started as a
Exactly.
volunteer.
Exactly.
You started as a volunteer.
Definitely.
And everybody who wants to get into the space has to
Definitely.
volunteer.
Definitely.
Okay? Otherwise, there's no bookish knowledge that you can gain here or that would work. You
Right.
have to dirty your hands and feet on the ground. Get to know the ground level reality.
Hmm.
And that's what our nation wants. Nation wants people sitting and working with the ground level people to make changes in
Right.
the community that we live in.
Right. Beautiful, yaar. So you talk about empathy, you talk about passion, you talk about strategic. So I always go with short form. So it is EPS. Empathy, passion, strategies. ये अगर आपके पास है और आपको लगता है कि you want to get into CSR, it is easier to go. And the most important is be an intern, be a volunteer, because the moment you start volunteering the projects, you will understand about the ground reality. Also, you will understand about the teammates, the team handling, the project handling, a lot of things. So people who are watching this and who want to get into social sector in corporate field or an NGO field, these are the must. So yeah, we are at the last section of our podcast, which is my favorite. It is rapid fire round. So we are not having a naughty rapid fire round here, but it is something related to corporate, something related to environment. So Sanchita, you will be having whatever first thing comes in your mind. Whenever I say this question, you have to answer that.
Yeah.
And it can be it can be 100% genuine. If you feel that it is lame, it is okay, because we don't have to be professional 24/7. So the first question is, what is the favorite environmental habit of yours?
My personal favorite is recycle and reuse.
Okay. One CSR initiative you would implement if you had unlimited paisa resources.
Teach little kids.
Okay. Best way to engage your employees in CSR activities?
Volunteer any day.
So you don't give any compensation or any perks to the volunteers for that?
No, if they're asking for perks, then it's not coming from their heart, of course.
Definitely. Most pressing social issue that needs attention these days?
That's a difficult choice because there are a lot of pressing issues. But topmost that comes to my mind right now is climate change, and that's real. Okay, so anything that we can do for the environment, like for example, I've recently started recycling and reusing my stuff very consciously.
Wow.
So I think that needs to be really addressed.
Right. So with this, why don't you tell viewers of ours, how do you recycle and reuse at a personal level?
Yes. So recycle, I am doing it. We can't deny the fact that we are not going to use plastics. Okay.
Definitely.
It's
Yes.
there all around us.
I always say that plastic is the best invention, but humans are the worst invention in the world.
That's good. Yeah, so how do I do is now I've started accumulating all the packets from chips, Maggie, or the pulses and the grains that we get in our house. Once I empty the packets in the container, I keep those packets separately, and once a month I wash them off. I put them to dry, and then I fold them in the form of like little cylindrical bundles,
Right.
and then I send it to a social enterprise in Pune,
Okay.
which goes by the name of Eco Curry.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
So we
making
send
bags.
it them, and they recycle it in the form of bags
Tote
and very
bags, right.
useful things that one can think of and can use it in their day-to-day lives. Like
Right.
laptop, I've got one laptop bag from them, and it's very beautiful.
Right.
I wish I could have got it here,
Uh-huh.
but yes, this is one of the initiatives that I've recently started taking, and it makes a lot of sense to me.
Hmm.
Second is I've taken a deliberate decisions not to buy additional clothes. Okay?
Right.
I'm trying to revamp my old clothes. Some clothes date back to as old as 10 years back. So the good
Wow.
thing is my size hasn't changed.
Lucky you.
So that's how I tend to revamp them, make it like mix and match things, and reuse my old clothes.
Beautiful.
That's the two things. Yes.
So people who always ask that how can we do it alone, how can we do it at home, recycle is not something we are into. You can definitely take this point. You can definitely, Eco Curry is doing wonderful job there, and with like Eco Curry there are multiple organization. You can send it to us, courier it to us. We are manufacturing benches out of the plastic waste. A lot of things can be done if we promise ourselves to do it. With this, last question for the rapid fire is funniest CSR related mishap you have experienced till date, or any funny experience at the CSR event or a CSR initiative.
Yeah, I could recall I was at a conference. I was at the panel discussion, and as I stepped down, you tend to be like a celebrity after
Definitely.
step down from the panel
Definitely.
discussion. So there are a lot of people gathered around me.
Right.
Everybody like giving cards, exchanging handshakes, and in these group of people, some people really want to talk, but they are
They're not able
really
to.
introverted to come
Right.
forward and talk to us. So that's one of the things that happened with me. There was somebody looking at me from the back, really wanted to talk to me, and I could guess from the facial expression and eyes.
Right.
So when I was free from the other people, talking to other people, I went there up to the person and asked, did you want to talk to me? I'm here, we can talk.
Right.
And that girl came up to me and asked, how did you know? I said I could read what's written on your face, so I came.
Right.
If you want to talk, we can talk
Right.
about it. So that's one of the funny experience that I actually went through, and there has been multiple such
Right.
cases.
Right.
So yes, going into conferences doesn't really mean that we just give our knowledge, but rather take knowledge as well. Is what
Definitely.
I think.
Definitely.
So
And yeah, I buy your point of being a celebrity, because I remember whenever I come down, it's like people, if you have a CSR tag under your name, people don't see you as a human. They see you as a bundle of money sitting there on the stage, which is coming down, and they want to just jump into that and see that that project can be executed by them. And as you rightly said earlier, also the NGOs who are not into those thematic areas, they want to start some work in those thematic areas because you have funds and you are working in that. So I would request every other NGO, please calm down your horses. It's whatever you are doing is the best. Keep doing that. The more case studies you build in, the easier the funding will be for you. And I feel the corporates are gone are those days there where corporates were thinking of parking the check the box compliances. Yeah, gone are those days where the corporates were just thinking about compliance hai kar do or park this money. They are more into seeing an impact. So definitely I would want all the people who are watching this to share this to their people who are into the social sector. Sanchita, last message for the viewers. Anything you wanted to say, convey, please, the dice is yours.
Thank you, Chinu, firstly for this opportunity. Last words I would want to say is we need more people to really come with a heart. Okay, the field is quite evolving, CSR and then ESG, which is environmental,
Definitely.
social, and governance. That are two most primary fields that I see evolving at this point, and there's a lot of opportunity for young talent to step into this. Okay?
Right.
Need not be just from the social background.
Right.
Okay, so you can step in, volunteer, see how things work on the ground,
Right.
and eventually when you have hands-on experience you would yourself gain the confidence to step into it and work practically.
Right.
So my advice to all the people watching this podcast is firstly try and understand what's happening in the ground, what are the problem statements, okay, and then go and volunteer with organizations. Maybe if you have a day job, then I understand you don't have the time. At least try to learn what's happening on the ground
Right.
and have that sort of a situational awareness. Okay, um, so these are the two areas. Like we need more people. We need really empathetic hearts to come forward to work in the fields, and eventually you will see yourself growing in this sector. And for the corporate specifically, my message would be to align your organizational goals with your corporate social responsibility or ESG goals. It's not only that the multinationals will have to do it, it's the small enterprises as well that have the opportunity nowadays. Our government has been very open in terms of promoting the social enterprises, promoting startups.
Right.
Okay, so we have seen a lot of new businesses coming up with support environment, with support various social causes on the ground. Okay,
Right.
so please, you can look out for them. There are a lot of information in the market available. There are various platforms where you can find this information, and they need the support. Okay, so my goal, my idea for this would be to support such social enterprises because they are really doing a fabulous job on the ground.
Truly said, yeah, truly said. And with this, I would like to end this podcast in a very learning way, where I am learning. I have learned a lot about the how Sanchita is uh, inviting her employees or including her employees in terms of research on the ground, just for the conducting an activity or planning an activity or creating an impact on ground. How she spoke about the exit strategy, which is very much necessary for any corporate to understand where their project is going, how empathy is important for people to come on board, and how not distributing 1,000 books is important, but taking care of one child is for a long term is much important. So thank you so much once again, Sanchita, for being here today. I know you have been traveling from Delhi, you have come here. So big thanks to you from me, from my team side, and everyone for coming here, especially for this part, so that we can have a launch of our podcast. And hope to work with you very soon. And if not work, hope to volunteer in each other projects very soon, so that we can learn from each other even more.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chinu, for having me, and thank you to the entire team. We really need to talk about these topics because there are a lot of confusion in the market. So, thank you for breaking that barrier, starting this podcast, and I wish you all the success.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you everyone who is watching this. This is Chinu Kwatra signing off from the CSR Talk with Chinu Kwatra. अच्छा लगा तो प्लीज़ शेयर कर लो, नहीं अच्छा लगा तो भी शेयर कर लो, बिकॉज शेयर करने के लिए आपको पैसे नहीं देने पड़ते. थैंक यू सो मच, लव यू.